Oh, yes, ladies and gentlemen, all the way from a secret location. He is a bloke, he is a yobbo, and his best mate used to be Robbo. Not sure if it still is, but it's Mr. Chris Franklin. How are you?
Good, mate. Good, mate. How you going?
Very, very well. First and foremost, big thank you for coming on the show. I understand it's a very busy time for you right now, so I appreciate the time to sit and talk with us.
I appreciate the exposure and backing the new song. Thanks.
No, it's an absolute pleasure. Well, we may as well get down to it. The reason that you're here today is over the course of the last little while, you've been working on a really fun project with a bucket load of people. And luckily enough, we can say that the title of the track, you've been working on a new song called Stay the Fuck at Home.
Have indeed, yeah. I just got sick of like the daily run to the supermarket to get the essentials and seeing so many people out not doing what they're meant to be doing, and came home and penned the words, and it all sort of rolled from there. And I rang one friend and who rang another friend, and we ended up with an ensemble of 23 prominent Australian musicians and singers.
It's unbelievable. I've actually got the list here. I'll go through them in just a sec. But before we get into them, so did you write the full lyrics yourself? Did you have input from the other talent, or is this just gone? This is the concept.
No, 100% my lyrics.
Wow.
Wrote them all down. They vary slightly. I wrote the poem first, and the second line of the poem was ended in the word poem. So it could rhyme with Stay the Fuck at Home. And I thought, if we're going to make it a song, I can't have the word poem in there. So I changed that part. Then as people come on board, Murray Cook came on board, who, of course, is the original Red Wiggle.
Yep.
To honour his request to stay true to the Wiggle logo.
Yeah.
He wanted a verse with no swearing in it, so I wrote an entire verse specifically for him that has no language in it at all. So
there were
a few... Sorry. No, I was just saying there were a few different verses written for a few different people.
Well, that was one of the questions I was going to ask, because I noticed that Murray Cook is in there, and obviously he's representing not just the Wiggles brand, but he's also got a group with his wife, Soul Movers, as well. Is that correct?
That's correct, yeah. The last 8 years or so, he's been a part of the Soul Movers band. A great little... if you think Aretha Franklin in the Blues Brothers, it's that sort of music. It's good old soul music.
Oh, beautiful. Well, we'll definitely be spending some more of his work on our show as well. Well, you've covered the Wiggle part, so let's get to have a look at the other blokes and ladies that you've had part of the show, because you've managed to dredge up some of Australia's greatest musicians and singer-songwriters. So, like, we'll start off the top of the bat. Right now, you got Russell Morris, who's been a friend of RPP FM down here in the Peninsula for many years. I had the pleasure of meeting him once before on a blues program. How do you approach someone like that and go, look, I've got this ditty that I think you're going to be perfect for? How does that conversation go?
It's quite funny. I've known and met Russell a few times. I've interviewed him. I've worked with him at the Blues Festival in Docklands. Just over the course of the 23 years I've been performing, we've crossed paths a few times. And the drummer that I've got, or one of the drummers I've got on this song, John Carsons, who's from Kevin Borich Express, just in conversation said, do you want me to try and get Russell Morris for you? I said, yeah. He said, I'll send you his number and give him a call. And he sent the number through, and I rang it. And Russell's name came up on my phone. I already had his number in there from previous meetings. Didn't realise. So, yeah, gave him a call, and he said he'd love to be a part of it. So, absolute gentleman, a lovely bloke. So.
Well, you can see the smile on his face too when he drops the F-bomb. He's like, yeah, nailed that. But Dave Gleason, who's a friend of yours, I'm guessing, as well. He has a pretty good part in the song as well, and he's guitarist, which is even good.
Yeah. Dave, how did we meet? Many years ago, I did a tour for the Australian troops in the Solomon Islands. It was for the peacekeepers that were there.
Well, thank you for your service with that.
Sorry?
Thank you for your service with that as well. We support our troops here on this program, so thank you very much.
Fantastic. I'm actually an ex-serviceman as well. So, I went over there with Yothu Yindi, and they requested that the sound engineer on that trip be a fellow called Jeff McGowan. Jeff's known as the best front-of-house guy for live music in Australia.
Yeah.
The Screaming Jets used Jeff quite a bit, and they had management problems, and they asked Jeff to manage them. And this was all happening just after I toured the Solomon Islands and struck up a friendship with Jeff. And so he suggested I do a national tour opening for the Screaming Jets, which I did and had a ball, and just became great mates with the entire band.
That's unreal. When you're on a tour like that with, and you're opening, for the Jets, do you get asked and requested to do some of your songs as well? Because it's not just one or two songs that you've done. You've got quite a large collection, and you've been nominated for a few arias. So, as far as I'm concerned, you are a singer-songwriter up there with the rest of them here in Australia. So you've got to consider yourself in that legend status as well. Like the song "Bloke" came into number 3 here in Australia for almost the entire 2000. So, how does that go?
I'll just pick this up while you're going and lean around that way.
Yeah, please.
There's
do.
a platinum record.
There
platinum record for "Bloke" on the wall there.
Holy shit!
I can see it around. There's a gold record just up there on the wall.
Holy shit!
In there. Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Congratulations. Honestly, congratulations.
It spins me out. I can't sing or play a note, so.
Neither can I.
I get lucky with lyrics.
I can smash the shit out of a triangle. So if you ever need a triangle player, I'm your guy.
I'm looking for someone who plays the electric triangle. Actually, I'm not into the acoustic stuff.
Look, I can't help you there. Sorry, I like to be unplugged. I'm not up for taking notes. So, but I thought I'd drag out the old Flanny for you as well. Actually, had to rob the wife's cupboard, and I think it suits me quite well, actually.
Yeah, it suits everyone. This is an old favourite of mine. You can see that it's come apart in a few places, but
yeah, I can see the big
both
holes.
sides. I think actually, yeah, both sides have got holes in it.
Oh, jeez. Well,
it's the old faithful.
I was raised in a small country town called The Rock, so anything to do with Flannies, the Blue Singies, Winfield cigarettes, the whole kit. We were you pretty much wrote our anthem, so we had no choice. Let's have a look at some of the other people that you've got part of this song. Because as I said, there's 23 artists. There's quite a large collection that you managed to even pull Killing Heidi out of nowhere and bring them part of it.
Yeah, once again, when Bloke was in the charts in 2000 as a single, Killing Heidi's album Reflector was the #1 album, and so we found ourselves on the same planes going to the same interviews quite a lot, and struck up quite a friendship. I was performing that year at the Adelaide Fringe Festival, and they were doing a show over there. They came to my show before theirs and then invited me down to their show. I was backstage, etc. We've had a 20-year friendship, so that was an easy get. I just ring the guys up and go, will you come and do this for me? Adam Pedretti, the drummer, is playing the brushes right at the start of my song from Killing Heidi.
Yes.
Yeah, and Ella's down towards the end of the song.
Yeah, and I tell you what, she still smashes it out. Again, a lady that, you've given them some beautiful lyrics and they smash it. You can tell in the way that they look at the camera or the way that they give just that cheeky little grin of, I fucking nailed that. This is good material.
They all sent us in 3 or 4 options of video and audio, so I've got a computer full of all the stuff that's not on the song as well, on the clip.
Are you going to release a B-side?
There might be something coming out very shortly. We'll see what happens. I'll wait till everyone is allowed to leave their house again, and I might write a song to the same tune called "Go the Fuck to Work."
I love it. Well, if you need a triangle player, an acoustic triangle player, I'm your guy. Now, you're also from originally down Mornington Peninsula way, which is where we broadcast from, which is absolutely fantastic. We miss you, Danny. You need to pop down a bit more often and show your face.
I do get down quite often, but I keep it fairly quiet. My mother and sister still live in Crib Point where I grew up, so whenever I'm in Melbourne, if I've got time, I'll get down and catch up with them.
No, that'd be good. We'd love to have you live in the show when we're allowed back. That would be awesome.
Yeah, for sure.
Because at the moment, with our particular station, RWPFM, because of the lock-in, the station's running on skeleton crew, so we've all been forced to sort of create these sort of shows at home, which is great because we now get to touch base with people like yourself who are also stuck at home and going, let's collaborate, let's do some stuff together. And I think the song "Stay the Fuck at Home" is one of the best ways to illustrate how life has changed at the moment.
It would work the same for you as it did for me rounding up the artists for the song. You could contact whoever you want and say, I want to do an interview, and they couldn't say, oh, sorry, I'm busy.
Exactly. I've already reached out to Hugh Jackman, mate. I know he's doing nothing. So give us a call.
Tell him I said g'day.
How about you ring him and tell him I say g'day? Who else have we got in this great band? China Walker. Like that's a big one from the John Paul Young All-Star Band. You know,
China's a great mate. I met China many years ago through Nick Chugg from Chugg Entertainment. China was good friends with Nick. I was good friends with Nick. China had a project, something happening in Airlie Beach, and Nick felt I'd be suited for it and put the two of us in contact. That was probably about 7 or 8 years ago, and we did that. We've done a couple of other projects together, and we've just stayed in contact over those 8 years.
Jeez, I'll tell you what, this is the thing, I suppose, that a lot of us regular folk who aren't in the music industry or don't get asked to tour, these are the contacts. Like it shows the unity, I guess, with inside the Australian, not only music industry, but in the comedic industry, in the
entertainment
yeah, exactly, is that unity of one another, where a project like this comes along and they go, I want to be part of it. I don't care what it does, whether it goes flying up the top of the charts or not. I want to be part of the project, because there are a lot of people out there, and it is a business sometimes where the goal is to try and get to the top spots, which I think with this particular song you've got a bloody good chance at the moment of flying back up the Australian charts pretty quickly.
But the problem I've got is with the amount of time it takes to load up onto Spotify, which is where the charts are judged by. It's still not on there, and it may take up to 3 weeks, they tell us. By then the novelty may have been and gone. So
no, I don't think it will.
We'll see what happens.
I really don't think it will. The more, because you've been very active in the interview circuit at the moment. You've appeared on quite a few shows in the last couple of weeks, and I again appreciate you taking the time to be on our little one. I think that it's not a novelty. I think that this, a bit like Bloke, is one of those songs where people are going to latch onto it because they feel the exact same way as you felt when you were writing the lyrics.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I was concerned. I thought that, it's out there on Facebook and YouTube. Everyone may have heard it, and that'll be that by the time it gets onto Spotify. But we'll wait and see. Either way, I didn't write it to get it on the charts. It helps with my profile, and it was a bit of fun, and it sends a good message.
Well, it's not just a bit of fun. It's fucking hilarious. It really is. And, I know this sounds really bad. I've got an 11-year-old son, and he loves it. But, he sort of hums it to himself as he's walking around the house. And I'm well. He's going to learn these words eventually. Is,
it's a jingle-based tune, so it's very catchy.
It's extremely catchy. It really is. Robert E. Kelly, who you have at the very beginning of the track, how did you approach him? Because he's also quite an eccentric man.
I originally posted the poem version just on my Facebook page, and thought nothing of it, went to bed, and got up the next morning and it had almost 1 million views. And Robert, in the daytime in America, the time that I was asleep, had put the music to it, because in the poem I said this could be a song, and I sing the last verse. So Robert wrote a piano hall type version of it and recorded that. He's over 3 million views on that now, and it went crazy. We contacted each other. I just thanked him for acknowledging me for the lyrics at the start. A lot of people would have just grabbed them, but he's done the right thing. He actually copyrighted his version and has credited me, rightly so, I guess, as the lyric writer in the American copyright of the song. So, we reached out, and from that chatted quite a bit, made jokes about us being the modern day Elton John and Bernie Taupman, but
without all the sex.
When we were putting the rock version together, I said, how about you open it up for us? You've got this 3 million views on your profile now. It'll really give us a boost if you sing the first verse. And he went, I'd be glad to. So,
and again, a guy that just nails it. Like he got your lyrics, and he gets the right inflection to set the rest of the song off in motion. And
he's hilarious in the group Facebook chat for all the musicians. He's the only one that's not Australian, and he's trying so hard to be Australian. He drops the C word all the time, because they don't use that over in America.
No, they don't.
Always talks about always talks about Vegemite and anything he can that's Australian, just to try and fit in.
What a goer. Good on him. I will have to reach out to him as well, because I think he's very much like you and I, and like our fan bases, where we just want to get along. We just want to have fun. And
yeah, that's right.
He clicks it. And to be totally honest with you, and I'll fully admit this, I didn't know much about him until I saw him in Stay the Fuck.
I'd never heard of him before him doing a version of My Poem, which was sort of the prequel to the rock song that we put out.
Yeah. And it's amazing, again, the industry, you know, the interwebs of everybody.
Yeah, for sure.
You know,
for sure. The Australian music industry is extremely incestuous. If you go back through the history, players playing with different bands and different times and all knowing each other, it's quite incredible.
Yeah, well, even on Stay the Fucking Home, you've got Rocking Rob Riley.
Rockin' Rob Riley?
Yeah, and he's been in a handful of awesome bands over the years.
Yeah, The Beast, Rose Tattoo. He was in for. He wrote Rose.
Oh, I think we've muted you there. Hang on a sec.
Sorry, my phone was ringing then. I'm talking to you through the phone and someone just rang.
That's probably why we lost you.
I've just cut them off. Yeah, so Rob wrote Rose Tattoo's biggest hit, We Can't Be Beaten, and a lot of the songs on that Scarred for Life album. And once again, we met. I was touring with Rose Tattoo and the Angels and met him during that tour. And you could not meet a nicer bloke. He was the friendliest out of the two bands to me. Not that they all weren't friendly. He lives in Adelaide. Every time my partner Michelle and I go to Adelaide, we make contact. We sit in his shed, drink beers, and solve the world's problems. He's got a recording studio in there. He's just fantastic.
That's how the Nightcap started. 13 years ago, I used to do this in a shed, a couple of drinks, and just talk shit with people. And 13 years later, here I am talking to one of my heroes. Yeah, it's amazing.
Don't get me wrong,
shed.
These guys are heroes to me. One of the fellas that was going to play but then came down ill was Mark Evans, who was the original bass player from AC/DC.
Ooh.
And once again, someone I consider a friend now, but he's still a hero of mine from my childhood, like most of these guys are.
It's amazing. Like, again, it's a credit to the industry. It's a credit to the entertainment industry, where your senior artists know that the upcoming artists have worshipped them for however many years. And like yourself, just play it off nice and cool. Like, yeah, okay, I'm this guy's hero, but I'm only myself. And I appreciate that, because you're actually talking to me like a human and not someone, you know, looking down from the almighty height.
I'm just a kid from Crib Point, mate. Just an average bloke like everyone else. I get excited when I meet all these people, and it's the same as anyone else. Yeah.
And that's, again, why I appreciate talking to people like yourself, where, you know, you've got this awesome project that you've just released, and it's exciting for someone like me in the other side of the entertainment industry to do what I can to help lift the platform and, you know, get it out to our fan base, which I know love our product, therefore will love your product if they haven't already loved it already. So just to be this much in the ocean, I appreciate. So thank you.
And we appreciate the support you give us in getting it out there.
Well, I haven't done much.
I'm going to take you for a walk. I'm going to take you for a walk for a minute, because I don't have a beer.
Oh, you better get one of them. I was going to buy it.
Yeah.
I should go and grab a wine or something. I haven't got a beer in my fridge. I know that's extremely.
I'll fax you one.
If you could, yeah, that'd be great. Just send me a photo.
Here we go down the bottom.
There we go. Look at this. Getting a beautiful tour of Chris Franklin's house at the same time. There he is. Now, you've got a really cool VB jacket. Is that something that VB gave you because of the sponsorship type deal, or is this just something they gave you?
No, VB have given me quite a few things, but the jacket was made by friends of mine in Bali as a gift.
Ah, beautiful. Well, it suits you.
Every year I do an event called Camp for Cancer. It's a weekend camping, raising money for cancer research, and the committee that puts that on, after me being involved for 5 years, brought that jacket back from Bali for me. So that was quite a nice thing.
And obviously the charity that will get back underway once all this virusy crap disappears.
Yeah, correct. They're not having their camp this year, but what they did do, Good Friday, they encouraged everyone to take the kids camping in their backyard while they stayed the fuck at home. It was free to do, and Darchi, a camping company, makes flags and things like that, donated an $800 camping pack to any of the families that had posted a photo of, so they were still doing things to keep the event alive.
That is unbelievable. Well, next year, when all this is done and they're allowed to start back up again, please let us know, because we would like to support as much as we can as well.
It's held in Victoria, in Wallan, just north of Melbourne.
Know Wallan quite well. That's where all the crooks run off to when you're chasing them.
Yeah. They're normally in the paddock we're camping in.
Yeah, well, excellent. we can stop in and have a chat. But yeah, no, please keep us in the loop. We'd love to support it and do what we can on our side of the fence to push that along the line as well. We should also mention you had Angry Anderson. Speaking of Rose Tattoo, Angry Anderson makes a pretty good appearance here on Stay the Fuck at Home as well.
He does indeed. I love Angry very much. We've worked together over the years on Housos and Fat Pizza. From 20 years ago, he was beating me up on Fat Pizza, and in Housos, him and his bikie gang chained me up and threw me off a fishing boat and killed me. So, yeah, we've been mates for many years. As I said earlier, I toured with Rose Tattoo and the Angels when I met Rob Riley through Angry putting that together. That was quite an interesting tour as well, because I'd do a half-hour set before any music was on, then bring on Rose Tattoo. They'd play a 45-minute set. Then I'd do a half hour while the bands changed over, and then bring on the Angels. And for the first half hour of the show, the audience absolutely loved me. And then Rose Tattoo would get out and rock the place for 45 minutes, and I'd go out in between, and the 800 people yelling, "Fuck off, bring on the Angels." Fuck, they hated me. Same crowd. I was the same bloke, same crowd. I'm trying to explain. Guys, it's going to take half an hour to change the bands over. You've got me or the Kylie Minogue CD that the sound guy's got. Your choice. And they'd all be yelling out, "Put Kylie on."
Well, speaking of other Australian artists, were there anyone else on your wish list, so to speak, to try and bring in on Stay the Fuck at Home? Was there one bloke you had in mind or one lady you had in mind and went, they would be
there was a few that had said yes and then were unable to in the end, one being Kevin Borich from Kevin Borich Express. We got his bass player and drummer on there, but unfortunately Kev was unable to do it. Tim Gaze, great blues guitarist and also an ex-member of Rose Tattoo with a beautiful voice. He was unable to do it. We had Rick Brewster from the Angels lined up. I mean, he lives here in Tassie with me. No, he doesn't live with me, but he lives in the same state.
Yeah.
He was 100% on board, and then just prior to putting it all together, he sent me an email going, "I've got some stuff going on at home and I'm just unable to do it. I really apologise." So there was three, and just quietly we were 50-50 chance of getting one Kylie Minogue to have a verse as well, but unfortunately it didn't work.
That would have been, I tell you what, that would have been the, not saying that the rest of the artists aren't fantastic, but that would be just a nice little sweet one. Yeah, because she has that.
Would have given it a good push in England, I think, if she was there.
Massive push.
Yeah.
We're fortunate.
And I didn't think till after the event as well. Rob Riley, who we've been talking about, once Jimmy Barnes had left Cold Chisel and had all that stellar solo career, Rob was the guitarist in his band for all that time. I could have asked Rob to grab Jimmy for me, but that
would have been.
I didn't think of it till after the event.
That would have been an excellent one. You managed to score another top Australian comedian that suits our image, Kevin Bloody Wilson, who I remember having on A-Track back in the day. 8-Track back in the day. How does that conversation go? Are you friends with Kevin? Do you travel in the same circuit, or?
I am with Kev. We met probably, I'd say it would have been about 10 years ago in Sydney. He knew of my bloke song, and obviously growing up I knew word for word all of Kev's songs. He turned up at a show of mine in Sydney. He was doing a show in Sydney, had a night off, and turned up at my show, introduced himself like I wouldn't know who he was. We went out on the piss that night, and I got him very, very messy. He tried to keep up with me.
That's a stupid idea.
Yeah. He was on his ass on the footpath with fans trying to take photos of him while I was trying to get him into a taxi so no one could. He to this day, 10 years later, he won't have a beer with me.
Jesus.
After that night. But I just rang him up, mate, and said, "This song's right down your alley." And I've got a chance of getting a Wiggle in there. Do you want to share a verse with the Wiggle? And Kev said to me, I always wanted to be the Black Wiggle.
I think we all wanted to be the Black Wiggle at one stage.
So it all came to fruition. I've got one verse that's half sung by Kevin Bloody Wilson and half sung by Murray Cook.
Like, there is no other artist on planet Earth that could have made that happen. There's none. Who sits there at home and goes, Kevin Bloody Wilson, Red Wiggle? Yeah, we'll put them together. No one.
I don't think in any other country in the world would those two very different genres come together for any project.
No. And that you're spot on. Again, that brings it back to that industry, connection. The
Australian way.
Yeah. Like, we're all happy to jump in. Like, you could have picked random people in the street that would have gone, fucking oath, I'm in. Like, no worries.
Yeah, for sure.
Because it's got a great message, because everybody in their cars driving or, going down the street, going to the doctor or whatever, going, who the fuck are all these people?
Yeah.
There are more people with dogs in our neighbourhood than I knew there were people in this neighbourhood, because it's their only excuse to get out of the house.
The dogs are finally getting walks.
Yeah.
That's what it is. People want to get out of the house and go, oh, I will take the dog for a walk.
Yeah. I went down to grab some milk and that earlier. I drove out on the street. Now, we live on a very quiet street, being the rich, successful millionaire that I am. And
you in Mount Eliza?
No, Patterson's Lakes, mate. Patterson Lake, there. Got to roll the tinny out onto something. But yeah, I drove out, and there was like 9 people with dogs.
Yeah.
There's never anyone in our street.
Yeah.
But yeah, like 9 people. The project that you've got, do you have? Obviously, you mentioned earlier, and let's look into this a little bit. Will you admit now that you will try and write a song, go the fuck to work?
No, it'd be too simple and too cliche. It'd be like trying to double up on the one thing. I'm looking at bringing other things out. I mean, it's taken 20 years between Bloke and Stay the Fuck at Home, so who knows, in 20 years' time we might come up with something good again.
Well, we're going to get right behind you. If you'll have us, we're there. We're gonna get behind you in any way, shape, or form as we can. And I'm going to propose a challenge to you, because you mentioned this, and I don't like to toot my own horn, but I'm not a bad drinker myself.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll set the challenge with you. Once all this shit's blown over, you, me, maybe a camera, maybe a mic, who knows, and I will have a drinking contest with you.
Yeah, perfect. Perfect. If I'm not in your beautiful part of the world, we can do it exactly via Zoom like this.
Exactly right. I am more than happy to set that challenge. I'm a little bit out of practice, so I'll have to lift my game a bit, but that's what happens when kids come on the scene. But I reckon I could do it.
If we do it, there's got to be rules. Each can has to be cracked, or if you're drinking wine, the bottle seal has to be broken to prove it hasn't been filled with water or tampered with in any way.
I'll do beer with you. I've got no problem with that.
Beautiful. Each one opened online in front of the camera.
Done. VB can get behind it if they want. We'll sponsor them, and we'll make a night of it. I'm in on this. If I have to go into a hotel and isolate so I can do it properly, that's what I'll fucking do. I will set that challenge. Once this is all done and dusted, if your diary matches my diary, we'll do it.
It's going to be a very long Zoom meeting, because I'm a distance runner, not a sprinter.
Yeah, I'm the same. So we'll get there, though. I reckon we'll get there.
I'll let you know. I assume I still do. As far as I know, I hold the record for the longest time continuous drinking on a North Melbourne Football Club Mad Monday.
It's not a bad record. Not a bad record.
I started Monday with the boys, went through Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, and they had a turnover of players. Some had gone home for a sleep and come back, and others had come and gone. But I was the only one that was there for the whole time until Wednesday night, from Monday morning till Wednesday night.
I own the record for longest keg stand at the West Michigan in Kalamazoo Lacrosse Boys Frat House.
Right.
So on the keg stand, tap in the mouth, they pumped away. 24 minutes later, they put me down because I kind of passed out. But it was only because of blood loss. So,
all right, this will be a good challenge then.
It's on. We'll make it happen. So, but until then, everybody that's listening currently, you need to go out, get online, go and visit Chris Franklin's YouTube channel, which is the best place to find Stay the Fuck at Home. We'll share all the links and stuff inside here as well, so keep an eye out for that. I could sit here and talk to you for the next 3 days straight. So I'm going to say thank you, though, because I understand you are a very busy man. You've got things that you probably need to get done. And, again, thank you so much for being part of the Nightcap.
Anytime, mate. Thanks for having me on.
No, it's been an absolute pleasure, and we will keep everyone posted when this drinking challenge will get underway. I'm all for it. Mr. Chris Franklin, thank you so much for being part of the show. We look forward to seeing and hearing more of you throughout the course of all of this. And we wish you the greatest success, you and all the other 23 artists. And if I forgot to mention anybody, I am very sorry. I can run through the names if you want before we go.
Let's go.
Let's run the names. So you had Robert E. Kelly. You got Jimmy Hocking, who's from the Screaming Jets. Adam from Killing Heidi. Chris Gilbert. That's another great one to have mentioned.
Great bass player.
Yeah, great
bass player. Yeah.
Danny Mark Young.
Danny Mark Young's father is actually John Paul Young.
No shit.
There you go.
There you go. I did not know that. These are great guys. I should have mentioned these too. Hype Duo, because they appear on the track as well, and they seem like a really nice group of guys.
They are great blokes. Yeah, we've toured around Sydney together. They released a song 10 minutes before we started this recording, which is an Anzac Day song, a tribute to the Anzacs. It's out. It's just sensational.
Oh, well,
it's right up there with I Was Only 19.
Oh, shit. All right. I'm going to make a note of that so I can find them. If they would like to plug their stuff, let them know, and we'll get them on the show as well. We mentioned China. We mentioned Murray Cook and his lovely partner Lizzie, who are part of Soul Movers. Or you might know Murray Cook as the Red Wiggle, as we've mentioned. Rock and Riley, again, just an absolute legend in the industry. Ella, obviously from Killing Heidi as well. Angry Anderson, Russell Morris, Dave Gleason, who's fantastic. Like, the guy can do no wrong. He really can't. Bob Spencer, who was also in Skyhooks, if I remember correctly.
Yep, Skyhooks, Rose Tattoo, and the Angels. Yeah. He's been in all those bands.
Jeez, I'll tell you what, again, it's the industry. Dave Larkin is also a great one. Kevin Buddy Wilson. Simone Palomé, is that how you pronounce her name?
No, Simon. Simon Palomares.
Sorry, Simon Palomares. Don't worry about me, my English.
You'll remember Simon if you're old enough from a TV show called Acropolis Now. He was there with George Kapanaris and all those guys.
Yeah, I remember that. That was a great show. And Steph Torok.
Steph Torok.
Torok, thank you.
Yeah. Steph was a headlining comedian when I was starting out, and he's a great mandolin player as well. So he did a bit of both on the song.
Oh, good on him. I don't know. Did I miss anyone? I'm pretty sure that's
John Carson from Kevin Borich Express. Yeah. And I think that's everyone.
Yeah, it's pretty much everyone. I don't know how he skipped my list. But nonetheless, my hat goes off to each and every one of them. As you said, you got your own little Facebook chat that you go. Please pass on our congratulations to each and every one of them, and let them know that
I will indeed.
We will definitely push this as hard and as fast as we can. Again, just so everyone knows, the main message of the song: stay the fuck at home.
We should play the clip.
I will play the clip directly after this. So thank you once again, Mr. Chris Franklin. Thank you again so very much. One, for ticking off this from being a hero of mine, and two, for creating this type of comedy in a time where we need comedy more than ever.
Thanks, mate. Thanks for having me. And anytime you want to reach out on Zoom, I'm not doing anything.
Well, we can be doing this more and more, and we fucking will, I reckon. So, good sir, from the captain and from the Nightcap, thank you very much for absolutely everything. And we look forward to talking to you again very, very soon.
Cheers, guys. See you later.
The whole world's caught a virus. You're not in this alone, but you can help to cure it. Just stay the fuck at home.
We're all stuck here in quarantine. It's like the Twilight Zone. To save the world, you only have to stay the fuck at home. Stay the fuck at home. Stay the fuck at home.
Don't you be a fucking dick.
Stay the fuck at home.
If you're locked down with your hubby or going in alone, sisters need to teach their men, stay the fuck at home.
Whether you've got 12 kids or you're living on your own, shut it down and isolate, stay the fuck at home. Stay the fuck at home. Stay the fuck at home.
Watch Netflix in your underwear.
Just stay the fuck at home.
But I need the gym and I need the beach. We hear you bitch and moan. You need to grow a brain cell and stay the fuck at home.
But I feel fine, I don't feel sick, I'll go out on my own. I think of you, you selfish prick, just stay the fuck at home.
Stay the fuck at home. Stay the fuck at home.
Sit on the couch and do fuck all.
Stay the fuck at home.
If you think you're not at risk, you're living in a dome. Spreads faster than a hooker's leg, so stay the fuck at home.
To the doctors and the truckies, those who put food on our plate, you keep the whole place running so we can isolate.
Stay the fuck at home. Stay the fuck at home.
You can be a hero too.
Stay the fuck at home.
The only way to slow it down is isolate, not roam. Help the world get back on track and stay the fuck at home.
Sit on the couch and drink VV, get shit-faced on your own. We don't care what you're doing there, just stay the fuck at home.
If you need to contact family, use Facebook, Skype or phone. Yeah, we've got the fucking internet, so stay the fuck at home.
From LA through to Berlin, from Wuhan through to Rome, there's people dying every day. Please stay the fuck at home.
Stay the fuck at home. Stay the fuck at home.
Don't you be a fucking dick.
Stay the fuck at home. Stay the fuck at home. Stay the fuck at home.
Don't you be a fucking dick.
Stay the fuck at home.
Stay the fuck at home.